Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss a video from testbook.com.
Hello everyone. Now in previous session we have learned about inequalities, their basic concepts and how to solve the questions based on those simple symbols. Now we are going to learn a new concept in the chapter inequality, and that concept is either or case in inequality. Okay, most of the time you come across there are 5 options, and among those 5 options one option is either 1 or 2 follows. What that option does exactly mean we are going to see in this lecture. Okay, for an instance, let us assume that we are given one statement. Okay, a statement is given to us, and that statement is A is greater than B is greater than equal to C is greater than equal to D. Okay, that is equal to E, that is equal to F, less than equal to G, less than equal to H, and less than I. This is the statement that is given to us. Based on these statements, we are given 2 conclusions. Okay, the first conclusion is B is greater than D, and the second conclusion is D is equal to B. Now we have to check the validity of these 2 conclusions. The procedure remains same. First of all, we will determine the relation between B and D. From this statement, we come to know that B is greater than or equal to D. Okay, now the relation that we have got does not match with the relation that we were given in the conclusion. What does it mean? Given conclusion is absolutely wrong. This conclusion is wrong. Okay, now second conclusion also talks about the relation between D and B. Okay, and what is the relation that is given to us? The relation given to us is D is equal to B. Okay, this relation does not match with the relation that we have got, and hence this conclusion is also wrong. As these both conclusions are wrong, what we may tend to answer for this question? We may tend to answer that none of the given conclusion follow, right? But that is not the case in this scenario. In this scenario, our answer must be either or. In this scenario, our answer must be either or. Why? Because certain conditions satisfy here. If those conditions satisfy in any case, the answer is always going to be either or. What are those conditions? We are going to learn those conditions. The very first condition for either or is we must have 2 conclusions in which entities are same. Okay, we must have 2 conclusions in which entities should be same. Now, let us understand whether this first condition is satisfied here or not. The first conclusion has B and D, and the second conclusion also has D and B. Okay, BD, BD. Both the conclusions have same entities, and that's why the first condition is satisfied. Okay, the second condition is for either or, the second condition is both the conclusions must be wrong. This is the second condition. Here the first conclusion is wrong and the second one is also wrong. Okay, now here second condition is also satisfied. Which one was the first condition? First condition was we must have 2 conclusions in which entities are same, BD, BD. Second condition was both the conclusion must be wrong. Second condition is also satisfied. Now the third condition for this is all possible relation. All possible relations must be covered. Third condition here in this case is all possible relations must be covered. What does it exactly mean? Now let us understand that third point very clearly. These 2 conditions are very simple to check. most of the aspirants get confused while checking third condition. The confusion is whether to check 2 conditions or 3 conditions. We'll clarify that doubt here, but just listen carefully. Okay? What relation we have got between B and D? The relation between B and D is B is greater than or equal to D. What does this relation exactly mean? This means B is greater than D or B is equal to D. This is the meaning of whatever relation that we have got. Okay, now what our task is to check all possible relation. These are the all possibilities that can exist between B and D in the given expression. Am I right? Okay, these are all the possibilities those can exist between B and D. Now, whether these two possibilities are covered in the given conclusions. Let us check. B is greater than D. This is covered in the first conclusion. B is equal to D. This is covered in the second conclusion. Here, all the possible relations those can exist between B and D as per the given statement can exist between are covered in the given conclusion, and that's why here third condition is also satisfied. Whenever all the 3 conditions satisfies, we must answer either or for that question. Is it clear? Now we'll take 2 more set of conclusions. The another set of conclusion is, the first conclusion in that set is A is greater than G, and the second conclusion is A is less than or equal to G. Here is the second set, and the third set of the conclusion is, the first conclusion in this is B is greater than H, and the second one is H is less than or equal to B. These are the 3 conclusions, and now we have to check for both the sets. Okay. First of all, in any question of inequality and syllogism, we'll check whether there are any 2 conclusions which have same entities or not. This would be the first task in any question of inequality and syllogism. Okay, because the first condition remains same for either or in inequality and syllogism as well. Now, AG, the first condition is satisfied. We have 2 conclusions in which same entities are there. Okay, now the relation between A and G is cannot be determined. What is the relation between A and G? The relation is cannot be determined. Now, as this relation is cannot be determined, this conclusion is wrong because this given conclusion does not match with the relation that we have got. Similarly, second conclusion is also wrong. Okay, now see, as both the conclusions are wrong, second condition is also satisfied. Now our task is to check whether third condition satisfies or not. Now check all the possible relations, as here the relation between A and G cannot be determined. What could be the possible relations those can exist between A and G? The answer is there can be 3 possible relations. We have discussed it. Whenever between any 2 entities we cannot determine a relation, all the relation can exist between those 2 entities. And all the relations means what? What do we mean by all the relations? The 3 possible relations. Which are those 3? A might be greater than G, or A might be equal to G, or A might be less than G. These are the all possible relations those can exist between A and G. Now, for either or, our task is to check all these 3 relations in the given conclusion. Now, see, A is greater than G. This is covered in the first conclusion. A is equal to G. Here it is covered in the second conclusion. We may see A is equal to G here. A is less than G, it is also covered in the second conclusion. Okay, A is greater than G, equal to G and less than G. All the possible relations are covered in the given conclusion. Hence, all the three conditions satisfied, then answer for this question must be either or. Either conclusion 1 or conclusion 2 follows. This should be the answer. Okay. Now for conclusion set 3. BH. Here first condition is satisfied. We have two conclusions in which there are same entities. Okay. The first condition is satisfied. We will determine the relation between B and H. What relation we get between B and H, the relation cannot be determined. The relation cannot be determined. Okay. Now, this and this, both the conclusion are wrong. Why? Because the relation between those two entities cannot be determined. Okay. Both the two conditions are satisfied here. Okay. Both the conditions are satisfied. Our task is to check third condition. All possible relation. What are the all possible relation between B and H? B is greater than H, or B might be equal to H, or B might be less than H. Okay. Now, we'll check whether all these three relations are covered in the conclusion or not. Okay. B is greater than H. It is covered in the first conclusion. B is equal to H. It is covered in the second conclusion. Here you can see B is equal to H. Okay. And B is less than H. Do we have B is less than H in the first conclusion? No, we don't have. Do we have B is less than H in the second conclusion? No, we don't have. Okay. As we do not have this relation covered anywhere in the given conclusions, that's why here third condition is not satisfied. Why third condition is not satisfied? Because this relation is nowhere in the given conclusion. And that is why, as these three conditions are not satisfied, all the three conditions, okay, we cannot answer here either or. Why we cannot answer here either or? Because here third condition does not satisfy. What to answer now? Okay, if there is no either or answer, then what to answer? If there isn't either or, we will answer whatever we have got so far. Okay, if there isn't either or, we will answer whatever we have got. We have got both the conclusions wrong, so what should we answer? Both are wrong. Yes, what should we answer? Both are wrong. What do we mean by both are wrong? None of the given conclusion follows. Okay, so answer here in this case is none follows. So never get confused between when to mark either or when to mark none follows. Okay, there is not at all any type of confusion between either and neither. Just remember one thing, there are only three conditions in order to mark either or option, and those three conditions are before you. Okay, if those three conditions are not satisfied, we are supposed to mark that answer which we have got after checking. That means if anyone is true, we'll mark accordingly. If anyone is wrong, any one option is wrong, we'll mark accordingly. Okay, so this is how the concept of either or is. Now we'll stop here in this session. Just remember all these three conditions and practice as many questions as you can. There are some exceptions. We'll learn those exceptions in the upcoming lectures. Thank you and have a great time.